so I can get paid to just be like a cute girl. Today drained me. Yes, I want to be like J-Lo, my queen. No shade for what I'm about to say next.
Well, thanks for doing the show.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, you want to just start off by saying who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So my name is Anita of Fashion by Anita, and I do marketing full time, and then on the side I'm a little influencer. I try to be.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like we could just start right there. Is like, why influencer? Why like content creation?
Yeah. So it really started out senior year of high school. So I
Okay.
had friends who would do photography class and they'd be like, "Oh, like, can I take a photo of you?" And I was like, "Sure." And then it was actually kind of fun. And I was like, "Oh, this is cute. This is fun." I
Yeah.
like put a little outfit together. They took photos of me and I was like, "Oh, cool, cool, cool." And then like as time went on, like Instagram became a thing. Cause like on MySpace, I didn't really get into the whole like creating content for MySpace.
Okay.
Yeah, me personally. But
Yeah,
once like
yeah, yeah.
Instagram started and the squares and like making it all perfect, I was like, okay, this is a vibe. This is a vibe. And then like money got tied into posting and I was
Yeah.
like, so I can get paid to just be like a cute girl. Let me give it a try.
The dream, right?
Yeah, I was like, for just existing, I'm like, okay, like might as well try.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah. I definitely MySpace. I was making the backgrounds. I
Yep.
was making the it cute.
Yes.
But yeah, I wasn't really thinking like, how do I don't know. I guess I was a little bit of like, how do I grow my top 8?
Yeah.
But,
Not the grow the top. How do I make sure I get on top of more people's top?
yeah. How do I get famous people into my top 8?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably what I was doing. But yeah, like, yeah, that is true. Like Instagram really did kind of like open that up
Yeah.
for like the posting and then the content. And like, I remember that too, of like the early days of just like explaining to people. I'm like, this is going to be like my friends that owned like businesses
Yeah.
being like, promote it on Instagram. And
Yeah.
they're like, why?
Why?
Yeah. And you're like, no, it'll help. you
Yeah.
know? And now it's like
Right.
the main way people promote.
I feel like it's been at least good 5 years since people have like actually taken it seriously.
Yeah.
Because even when it like first started, we're all like, oh, like how long is this? I too was like, how long is this gonna last?
Yeah.
And now we're in 2025 and it's still going. And I'm like, you know what? The cow is still mooing. I like that. I do.
Yeah, and it is like that fear too of like there's always something else coming along. So it's like you put all the eggs in this basket, but what happens next year,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
But I think at the same time it's like you'll figure it out.
For sure.
Whatever the next thing is,
Yeah.
you'll figure that app out.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Because it's like on the bright side, we all start at zero.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like, okay, so say back in the day when we feared TikTok going away.
Yeah.
If that was your like main source of income and it completely shuts down, now what? Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, we're all starting from zero, but like who's going to put their funding into it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like I think so important of like why have a community and have like a way to contact that community.
Yeah.
And like I've had my Instagram hacked and then like
no.
it was like gone. Like I literally woke up and it was just like gone.
Yeah.
And then I had like a message and then I like was able to get it back throughout
Yeah.
the day. But that was like years ago, but that was like a real wake up call of
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, it would just be all it could all
It
just
could all
go
just
away.
go. Yeah. And it's like, so now what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like that's where you're like, yeah, let me figure out YouTube or
Yeah.
whatever, like what's the other thing that I
Yeah.
could be doing?
But they all have different algorithms. And then it's like,
Yeah.
the communities are so different because at least for me, like TikTok is so weird. So
Yeah.
like the most random videos will like go viral, pop off, and like that community trying to transfer and be like, so you guys should also go follow me on Instagram. No one wants to go. This is a little too much work for you. That's fine. Or like the
Yeah.
same thing. It's like, okay, I have my Instagram, I have my little link tree, trying to get people to go to my YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's a first world problem. This is a first world problem, but trying to get everyone to the pages
Yeah.
is like a job. It's like once they find you on that one thing,
Yeah,
That's
because
where
it's
they
like that's
live.
what they use, you know. So like even with podcasting, like back when it was like not video,
yeah.
the best way to get a listener is not like through social media. It's like being on another podcast because it's like
okay.
they listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
That
on
makes sense.
Instagram where it's like, I don't listen to podcasts,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm following the page, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
or even now where it's like, I'm in like this weird growth stage where I'm doing these episodes, I'm making clips, posting the clips,
Yeah.
and I even have friends messaging me being like, I love the clips.
Yeah.
Haven't listened to the full episode yet, but I
Yeah.
love the clips.
Yeah.
And you're like, listen to the full episode. It's really good. You know, like, check it out.
Why is my voice getting higher? Yeah. Sometimes it's hard though. Like, I don't know. Again, maybe it's a attention span thing.
Yeah.
Because I will sit all night long watching 90210. Don't judge me. But like
Okay.
sitting down for it, like even like to listen to a book, an audio book for 30 minutes, I'm like, dog, I don't know. But like Netflix will be like, are you still watching? Yes.
4 hours in.
Keep playing.
Yeah,
keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. Like my friend Ruben, he brought up a good point. I was talking to him about it today, and he was like, yeah, because sometimes with these clips, people probably feel like they got the whole show.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, I get what that episode's about.
Yeah.
Even though that's
It's like the movie trailer. You're like, they showed me all the best parts. I don't need to see it.
That's a good way of putting it. And that's probably, I'm sure there's a little bit of that like dopamine, like as you're scrolling and you're like, I saw it.
Yeah.
You know?
I've seen enough. I saw all I needed to see.
Yeah. And okay. So there's something else that I wanted to ask you about was how do you get friends with boats?
Okay. So let's get close here. This is a step-by-step of how to get friends with boats. Honestly, it does help to be a not ugly girl.
Okay.
It's a great first step.
Okay, I'll write that down.
Yeah,
Don't be an ugly girl. Zack.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like being a reasonably attractive girl, definitely helpful because I feel like most of the people who own boats are men. When was the last time you saw a chick own a boat?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it seems to be more of a dude thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's an investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the classic, like, you don't want to be the boat owner.
No.
You want the friends with the boats. And that's what I'm working on. That's like I'm going to put it on my vision board for next year.
Yeah. The key is to also just like put fillers out there.
Okay.
You know, don't be scared to put it on your Instagram story.
Yeah.
You can even make it like a little joke, like, would be nice to be out on a boat right now. Like, because you never know.
That's
like,
true.
You never know who's seeing it, like who one of your followers who has a boat, like, or knows a person, just like put it out there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to look right into the camera and say, if you're watching this right now and you're in the Seattle area and you own a boat, my email is now below. give me a message.
Yeah, he'll bring snacks.
Yeah, I'm a good hang too.
Yeah.
I'm a good yapper.
Yeah.
I can help drive the boat if you want.
Yeah, it's always a bring your own something.
Yeah, I'll bring something.
Yeah.
I'll even bring my own captain hat.
Yeah.
The usual get up.
But you got to. For me personally, like, what else do you really do? Like in Seattle, like what, you go on a hike? And I went on a hike, but like, what more do we do? See, we got to get your boat.
Yeah, I got to get some boat time.
Yeah.
I was trying for this year, but I think it's a next year goal for sure.
It might be next year, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, and now that you know that I'm looking, you can put feelers out there too.
Yes.
Like next time someone's like, shouldn't we just get a group of us together on a boat? And you'll be like, I know someone. I know someone who wants to hang on a boat.
Yeah. If anyone would like to invite me on a boat and if I can have a +2, perfect. Thank you.
There you go. Great.
Yes.
That's really why I had you over, was just this boat question. It was just a...
So it's been real. It's been a good time. I love you, Seattle.
We kind of touched on it a little bit of just like social media and like content creation, but it's like, what are your goals now with like, you've grown this following, you're making this content, like, how are you feeling about it? And like, where are you hoping to head with it?
My biggest thing would be to monetize it so I can do it full time. Cause my my overarching goal would be to be able to do a lot of like fitness content and just keep it free. No shade for what I'm about to say next. There's just a lot of people who have programs for days and they always cost, you know, because everyone needs to make money. I get it. But I would like to just keep making content for, it's like, especially beginners, because I used to be that one girl who just like did an hour on the Stairmaster because I was like, I don't know anything else to do. So it's like, I remember being like, am I doing this right? So just being able to make like endless free content, like if you're a beginner, maybe you just had a baby, so it's like you can only do stuff at home, just being able to do that. So it's like, okay, Nike sponsored it, but then the content can be free.
Yeah. And then would you want to do like a community based thing, or do you want to just keep it online?
Honestly, I'd have to keep
Like,
it online.
yeah.
I was once a personal trainer, and it's giving very much so therapist. People would just start yapping.
I bet.
They just, and I've heard some things, and husbands are cheating, and I'm like, so you ready for that next set, girl? I'm so sorry.
They're just on the bench press and they're like, I think I'm going to leave my husband. And you're like, okay.
I'm like, ooh, that sounds awkward.
I bet that does sound like a job that is a lot therapy. Yeah. Because I wonder, the reason I ask that is because there's definitely some people I see where they build a community online.
Yeah.
And they're like maybe a runner.
Yeah.
And then they're like, let's do a run club.
Yeah.
Or like, let's do a run meetup.
Yeah.
And I think those are fun. But I also think those could get out of hand real quick.
10 out of 10. Most things can, though, which is kind of the issue in this day and age. Almost anything where you're like, I would have never thought that was going to happen. And then some way, somehow, someone finds a way to just do too much, as I like to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it's like, I'm the same of like, I like doing the live shows for stand-up. That's great. But I don't think I'm ready to do like the live podcasting or like the community group thing of like.
How would you do that for comedy?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, so would you be like wanting to teach something? So what do you mean you're not ready to do the group thing when it comes to comedy?
Well, when it comes to comedy, like the shows are good, but like I know that there is like, I don't know. There's some comedians that like teach classes that are, or like, or even just have like meet and greets.
Yeah.
Where it's like not a show and it's just a meet and greet. And I'm just not, I'm not ready to do any of that. And also like with the classes, I have like a thing of like, I know a lot of comedians that they don't have a lot of income.
Yeah. And
so now I'm charging them for like this thing that, you know, I would, you know, if they just called me, I'd give, you know, so there's a little bit of that. And I like to just kind of like give it out online.
I was saying, that's how I feel about the fitness thing. Cause it's like, at the end of the day, unless you're training someone who's like doing it for like bodybuilding where it's like very scientific, like very dialed in. Okay. But this is like, all you really need to do is eat a little bit less and move your body a little bit more.
Yeah.
And this is how you could move your body. I don't want to charge you for that.
Yeah, and it's like that's a good point for a lot of people. And yeah, same. It's like I just had a call with someone that's like, I just filmed my special and now I'm helping him kind of like set up for filming his special.
Yeah.
And it's more of just like a chat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give him some advice, but it's also like I'm not the only person doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so there's like other info out there. And so, yeah, it gets a little like, I'd rather give the content on the podcast or like in a video or, you know, a one-on-one call versus, you know, like a mass course or something like that.
Right. But you got to eat. So we got to find ways to be able to eat.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's like, I think it's like, even if I say that right now, I might feel different in 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's, I know that you've rolled out like a TikTok subscriber.
If you're watching this right now, please go subscribe. Thank you. I have one. And I love you so much if you're watching this. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Just because Okay, at least for me, again, no shade. I just like to clarify because sometimes I feel like when people hear subscriber and it's not like if it's not YouTube, we go to the other subscription. So I always have to be like,
The one that got really big.
I'm like,
The last few years.
this is not that subscription. If you subscribe, that is not what you're going to be seeing. So it's like still
Yeah.
trying to convince, because I mean, for me personally, I already post so much on TikTok.
Yeah.
So it's like, what more could I possibly be posting that you want to give me money for? And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But that's like what we're talking about, where it's like it's more of a job than you realize it is. You're like, oh, like I have all these followers, which half of them I swear are bots. Like I need TikTok to do what Instagram did, where they just kind of like cleared out a lot of bots.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
I wonder about that. I saw a video recently about Facebook and Instagram ads.
Yeah.
And how we're unsure. We're in this weird area now of unsure about targeting because how many of those are bots that are seeing your ad?
Yeah.
So it's like the numbers, the audience the demographic you're trying to get. How much is that? And then it's
Is
like,
it actual? Yeah.
yeah. And then you're right, where it's like you have probably, I mean, I guess like I want to know about like your growth with TikTok. Did you get like all of that overnight, or like one video, or like what happened? But in that, it's like, I know anytime I've had a video take off, it's like a bunch of people follow me. And then in that, if I scroll through, I see like, Bob's real estate follow me for some reason. And then I see later Bob unfollows me.
Please. And honestly, do unfollow me, because it's like you are ruining my analytics right now. Because on my page, they're like, how does one have this many followers and this little interaction? I didn't pay for these followers, okay? They're just now here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it's, especially on TikTok, it happened in phases. On Instagram will still be the death of me, because it's like, it's so slow. I don't know about for you. Like, I've recently had a couple of videos really do well. Always confusing. I just posted it. This is what happened. Okay. Meta started a program, and they're trying to compete with everybody else. So they were like, hey, we want you to post 20 things on Facebook.
Whoa.
And then 10 reels on Instagram.
Okay.
The Facebook part was easy because I was just reposting things already posted everywhere else. But on Instagram, 10 reels, I usually don't post that much on Instagram because it's a little bit more curated. I'm like, okay, what do I want to post today?
Yeah.
So randomly, I was like, I just need something to post. I posted a little collage workout video situation. Apparently, that's what the people wanted to see. If I would have known sooner, I would have posted that a long time ago. But it's like the amount of followers that I've gotten from it, like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm looking at y'all right now. Okay. Because why are you viewing the post and not doing anything? You just like to look at it. You just like to look. Okay. So I see it grow by the thousands.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say in the last 30 to 60 days, I've grown over 5,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow. Congratulations.
If only it meant anything.
Okay.
Because it's like, I will look at my feed and it's like, I think the highest one is like, from one of the ones that like went off, is over like 400,000 views.
Okay.
Like, great interaction. And then the post right after, they don't care. So then I was like, let me go back to the wheelhouse. And then I did another video very similar to it. Still did really, really well. Not as well. But it's like, it's just trying to find the niche. It's almost like TikTok, though, in the same way of like, you post a random video, you wake up the next day, or sometimes in like 30 days, I forgot about that video.
Yeah.
And now you're all, what's happening?
Yeah.
Very confusing.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you, where it's like you don't really know. And I think we're heading into this like weird space where like followers don't matter.
Yeah.
Because none of these social medias will show our followers our videos.
Yeah.
And so then that number isn't a good number to keep any track of. And then, yeah, you are kind of living per video.
Yeah.
And I'm really finding that on like Instagram that like, not until I started posting more recently with like the podcast clips.
Yeah.
My Instagram was like dead.
Yeah.
Like completely dead. And now like Instagram's like slowly starting to show it to people
Yeah.
again. And it's like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of traction, but yeah, getting followers from it, tough.
Nothing.
And then TikTok, it's like, yeah, every video can be insanely different.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah. The high is crazy.
Yeah.
When they're like, don't chase it, but it's so hard not to.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Because it's like you have like one video do well
Yeah.
and you're like, let me recreate that every day. Like,
Yeah, right. How do I do it?
yeah. Up all night smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Being like, I got to get these numbers in. You know?
Right? Yeah. And then you do like the exact same thing. No one can.
Yeah. They're like, I missed it.
Yeah. Like they're like, no, we cared yesterday.
Yeah.
We're over it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So with TikTok, is that what happened? It's just like
On
video
accident.
to video, kind of like having some highs,
Yeah.
some lows, and
Just pure accident. And I always tell people, like, for me, I love to do like answer questions or answer comments from videos that do well, because obviously they liked something from it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, again, that's just like your one video and they've seen enough.
yeah.
And now it's time to move on to the next thing. Like the equation, there is some method to the madness, but there's also just randomness of like, I looked crazy. This was like half-assed. Like, and then you post it and this was what the people wanted to see.
And I think you're onto something too, of just like that day.
Yeah.
They wanted to see it that day
Yeah.
at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's like that's it. You know.
But also the algorithm. Now, this is my question. I know you're supposed to be asking me questions, but I
Yeah,
have a
you can
question
ask
for
me
you.
questions.
How do you feel about the algorithm? Because you know how everyone's always like, the algorithm. And then you see those people, which I do think I'm throwing shade, are lying when they're like, you have to post between these times. And if you don't do this, and like the list is growing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the algorithm?
I think it does change from time to time, and I'm sure there's like updates that they do. But like, you know, like, yeah, like 5-6 years ago when like Instagram was math.
Yeah.
It was just like, use the right hashtags,
Yeah.
post on the right days,
Yeah.
and fit this aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it would add up.
Yeah.
And it's like, as long as you were doing that consistently,
Yeah.
you would probably have good luck. Now I really think of it more as like a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Where it's just every day you're buying a lottery ticket.
And just seeing what happens.
Yeah. And you know, like we were talking before the podcast where I'm just like, I'm jealous of like how much content you put out
Yeah.
and how great you're doing with it. And so when I see your content, I go, yeah, she's buying 4 lottery tickets
Yeah.
today. That is great. I'm buying 1 lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And the numbers are very similar to yesterday. You know, like, I should be buying, you know, I should use different birthdays for this
Yeah.
lottery ticket. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I'm feeling about it right now. So it's like, I think there's a little bit of that, of like, the only method to the madness, like the only thing that we can control is consistency.
Yeah, just posting it.
And
Yeah.
being consistent with it is the only, so it's like, besides that, it's luck. And then, you know, like what I'm doing right now is like reevaluating my goals and like how I'm approaching things. And part of that is like, yeah, maybe these reels that I'm posting aren't the right way.
Yeah.
Like, what if I did them a different way? What if I did a different, you know, and I think it's just like, you know, because I have a lot of friends that have tried, they've different accounts,
Yeah.
different niches, different things. And sometimes you stumble onto a niche that like really takes off.
Yeah.
You know, so I think there's like some of that
Yeah.
like figuring that out. And I feel like you figured out your niche. And
I'm
feel
trying.
Yeah, you're doing great.
My favorite niche, and I mean this in the most humblest of ways, is to just I'm the niche, because my thing personally
Yeah.
is like, okay, so, because I've seen this happen to people. So say they're like a fitness person, and then just one post, they want to talk about anything else, and people are like, shut up. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, they can't talk about anything else. They like, that's all you want to see from them every single day. So it's like, I already kind of get burnt out sometimes, in the sense of I'm like, I don't want to get ready today and take any. I'm like, today drained me. But it's like, it's a little easier because it's like, I have the option where it's like, I can just post an OOTD. I can just do a workout
Yeah.
video. It's very just like, what is the randomness that I'm doing today?
Yeah, and that's why I feel like you figured out that you are your niche.
Yeah.
Where it's like it might be fashion, it might be fitness, it might be just like about your day or
Yeah.
your weekend or what. And I love that because like I was telling you, like I have a gaming channel, and if you can go and look, if I post something that's not gaming,
Yeah.
doesn't do well.
And that's the thing. I'm like, so I can't do anything else. I just, keep it broad.
Yeah, and I think there is like people are looking for that, but
Yeah.
I do like wonder. It's like, do you have to pull them in with something?
Yeah.
Like a certain thing, and then you can kind of slowly branch up. But you gotta like be careful with what that is.
My videos are so random. One of my highest viewed videos, I'm sitting on my bed and I was just being a girl, putting on some glitter. And I'm like, you guys should really get the glitter. And like, they just love it. And I'm like, and then I tried to recreate it.
Yeah,
I'm like, we all love glitter so much. I can talk about this all day. But that one, that was the one. They just really liked that one.
yeah.
Very random.
Glitter that day.
Yeah, it was, But I also learned that the way they make glitter is like not good.
Really?
Apparently, there were a lot of comments about like, you should look up how they make glitter. And I just,
Did you look it up?
no, I
Okay.
have too much glitter. I have too
You're like,
much.
They'll stress me out.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I have no idea how they.
I hear there's lots of microplastics.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but that's also, I'm also eating it, so it's in my food.
And that's why I'm like, you know what?
And I look good with it.
I'm like, I don't need this in my life. I'm so sorry. I just can't do it right now.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I have in my day is the glitter. Makes it magical. So I was like, yeah.
Do you are you a vision board person?
I am.
Okay.
I'm kind of lazy about it though.
What's
like
that mean?
you know Pinterest?
Yeah.
I want the digital route.
Really? You're not
Yeah.
cutting stuff?
No.
Why?
Because like also unless you're just like printing it out, like where are you finding these photos? Like I'm only 31. I miss the days of like magazines and like cutting things out of like Vogue and stuff,
Yeah.
like back when there was like editions and then it would make sense.
Okay.
You're like clipping things out of Vogue, the teen magazines, sure. But now,
That's what I do.
from magazines?
Well, yeah, I go
Okay.
get old magazines.
Oh, you get
from,
old
like-
magazines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
back
I'm
when
like,
they used to print them.
okay, I'm like, where are you getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like something about J-Lo.
Oh, okay.
And,
I was
and
like-
her great outfits in 2005, and I'm like cutting that out.
You're like, yes, I want to be like J-Lo, my queen. My queen. Also, random tangent. Why do we hate J-Lo so much?
I didn't want to bring it up on the podcast because
What did that
I
woman
like
do?
J-Lo.
Okay, but like everything I've ever seen, like they hate her.
Yeah. There's like a lot of like, especially like she did that documentary about herself.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't.
Okay.
Well, I've watched parts of it,
Yeah.
but I haven't watched the full thing. And I guess it just wasn't a good vision. But to be honest with you, J-Lo's been famous for a very long time.
A very long time.
She's been
She can't be that bad.
she's been in the star light for
Yeah.
a while. So yes, when she's making a documentary, I'm sure there's a lot of people that like are just like, you're great,
Yeah.
and it's like a bubble. And I'm sure when you're like at that level, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of a bubble.
Yeah.
But I love J-Lo movies.
Yeah.
I love her movies. I
Yeah.
also think J-Lo only accepts to do a movie if it's in walking distance. Because I don't know if you've known, they're all like in Manhattan or
Are they?
Queens or like.
Okay, I didn't know that. I love that. Efficient.
Yeah.
We love an efficient
Yeah,
woman.
yeah. She'll be
Okay.
she'll be like, there's like one movie where she's like working at a grocery store in the beginning, and it's the grocery store that was next to my apartment, and I was like, that's
love
J-Lo's
that.
grocery store.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, she's always accepting projects around the area, and I think they're great. I
Yeah.
love those rom-coms. I'm a
They're
rom-com
cute.
person,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, I'm more of a digital visual board girly.
Okay.
So I went to good old Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's got all the photos you could ever need, you could ever want.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, what do I want for myself? Which, why are we already in August? I remember when we started this year and I was like, I have all of 2025 to make my dreams come true. And now I'm like, I have like 4.5 months left.
Mm-hmm.
What have I done?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we got a lot. I got a lot to do in the next 4.5 months.
Yeah.
I'm currently pivoting because it's like, okay, I've seen the growth in social media as far as like numbers, views, but we were talking about it earlier. Now it's like, okay, really putting in the work, y'all. It is work, I swear. They're not lying to you. Putting in the work of like pitching myself, pitching to brands and being like, this is why you should have me as the person doing that video and you should give me money. Thank you so much. So I can stop going to the office. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me pivot. But the thing is like, there's just like almost too much information. Sometimes it's overwhelming because it's like, there's always going to be a couple different ways. You know, do you remember that one guy who was skateboarding and had like, was drinking some juice?
Oh, yeah. The classic
and he just popped off.
Cranberry video. Yeah.
So
and
like
sales of that went through the roof.
Yeah. So
and
like,
everyone's buying longboards. Yeah.
so not everything is streamlined. Like some people really do. It's like that one thing happened and now they're sad.
Yeah.
And then you have like other people who everyone has a course. No shade. Everybody has a course. So sometimes there's like so much information. I'm like, okay, who do I believe? Like who is actually really trying to tell me the information versus who's just like, buy this course. It's only $25. But it's like, how many people do you sell this $25 dream to?
Yeah.
And there's nothing in this course and you've made how much from it?
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, they're like, it's the classic how to make $1 million. You charge $1 million for a course of how to make $1 million. You know, it's like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, on TikTok, there's 1 billion accounts that are like, here's the new algorithm update. Here's the hot new trend. Here's the new, you know, and they're getting a lot of views just talking about that.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you're right. Honestly, like in comedy or anything that I've like really done, it's just the best way that I found is just reaching out to someone that's doing it well and having like a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Versus like someone that's like their whole job is selling a dream
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a job though.
Yeah. But in this market, at least for the social media, like we were saying before, Seattle's definitely growing and like more people are doing content.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people I know, even from like photographers to content creators, always end up, as I always say, have like a real job, have like something else that they do, which is fine. But I'm like, okay, what you were saying, finding someone who just does this full time, who isn't just selling hopes and dreams, because we're all kind of selling something. So sometimes I know them in real life and I'm like,
yeah,
you don't do that. You do other stuff too. Yeah. So,
yeah,
but that's on the board. We got 4.5 months to like pivot, pitch out in 2026. I said that for 2025. 2025 was just, I don't think it's going to happen this year. But 2026, we're going to make it a full-time job.
Yeah. I think that's great. I believe in you. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like so on your team.
Thank you. And it's so important because it's like almost how you were saying, you know, putting your hopes and dreams and aspiration in like someone to sell you to a brand. It's always good to surround yourself with people who like actually think you can do it.
Yeah. And like with like in comedy and now like I'm finding with content creation, it's like you need your group that are all striving for that. Like I have comics that I reach out to that are either further along than me or like at the same level or whatever. And we're all just kind of like working together on like how to make it happen. And that's what I am trying to like build here in Seattle is just also like knowing people here that are maybe not doing comedy, but they're doing other things like you, where it's like and like how can we work together and how
Yeah.
can we help each other out?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to make it happen. And yeah, so and I also every year my girlfriend and I do a vision board party
Ooh.
where we have people over and we
Okay.
get all the magazines, we get all the
Yeah.
glue, we get the paper and
Yeah.
do the thing.
Yeah.
You're totally invited.
Yes.
So you can have
Okay.
like
a real one.
a real one to look
Yeah.
at. So yeah.
Because I know it like really helps because it's like, yeah, you could get lucky, but most of those people, like we were saying, like they're shooting every single day. So it looks lucky,
Yeah.
but like they've been shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe getting close. Maybe they got a 1-pointer, they got a 2,
Yeah.
and now they just made the 3.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you know, my years in comedy, it's like the things I almost got.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, we could do like an hour of things that almost happened.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Oh no.
it's like I almost got this, and I
Yeah.
you know, I auditioned for that. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's like, but yeah, you know, you don't see it until it's like, oh, this thing or whatever, and that's
Yeah.
the classic. Like, so many people talk about the overnight success. It's like overnight success with like 10 years of behind the scenes work.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very rare for us regular people where it's like it truly was just like I woke up one day and it was just all here.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
No, it's like you go back to their pages and you're like, oh my goodness, they have been posting since like, wow. Like I've never heard of you before today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like we were saying earlier, they had like 10 other pages that you didn't know existed. And
Yeah.
now you're just seeing this one thing
Yeah.
that they did. So
Literally a whole job.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's like a big, speaking of goals and like the end of the year and stuff and like pivoting.
Yeah.
What, like, is there something in that like in January you were like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And now here you are in August being like, I don't think that's the goal. Or I'm not going to do it that way.
Yeah.
Or,
I think it's almost the opposite. So
Okay.
like before I didn't necessarily see the like major value in example having like a manager because I'm like,
yeah.
well, I don't have like that much going on. I can just keep doing it myself. But now it's like how we were talking. Sometimes it's like the look and the feel of someone else reaching out for you that just like gives expensive, gives professional. So it's like, it's just a little different. You like, I wouldn't think of it because it's like, why does it matter if I'm pitching versus
Right.
they are pitching me? But it's part of the game. So when I first started, I was like, oh, I can just do everything myself. I also thought that like brands were just going to be just like reaching out to me all the time. And like, yeah, it turns out that like not as much as I thought it would happen. So yeah, now I'm like, oh, okay, I get why people sign on to agencies. I get why people would have a brand manager. But now again, there's so many. So sifting through like, okay, who actually makes sense? Because some people are like almost old fashioned, like model agency vibes where they're
Yeah.
like, we don't get paid unless you get paid. And I'm like, nice. Or you have the ones that are like, we only take 5% off of everything you do, no matter if we gave it to you or not. And it's like, but why?
Yeah.
Yeah, but why? So now I'm like, okay, I'm understanding why people like have agents. I understand why people are in agencies. Let me actually look into joining. I'm like, oh, actually like get the hype now. I understand the like value of it. So I'd say that's like my biggest pivoting point is like, it's okay to have help.
Yes.
Sometimes you cannot do it all.
Do you? Okay, that leads me to do you have struggles with asking for help in other parts of your life, or is it just this new career path?
I feel like kind of maybe just in career because I'm the baby of my family
Okay.
and I just love to ask people to do things for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm the baby. Why would you make me do that?
Okay.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, I've talked about it before on here, but like that is like, I bring that because that was my struggle.
Yeah.
Is like in life,
Yeah.
I never asked for help in
Okay.
anything.
Yeah.
And so then of course, like
It just translates.
it translates to it, and there's like a classic moment that really changed my comedy career where it's like I finally reached out to a booker and
Yeah.
was like, why have you never asked me to do the show?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you've never asked to do the show. And I was like, oh my God, this whole time I could have been asking. Yeah. And just like that, like learning to ask for what you want, crazy.
Yeah, because again, like with brands and stuff, when you're like, oh, you pitched yourself? I thought they were just like, oh, okay. Because, okay, I wouldn't expect a brand to reach out to me and be like, but pay us.
Yeah.
But on my end, I reach out to you and I'm like, look at my analytics and I will do this for you and you pay me. My brain never processed that.
Okay.
I was like, oh, interesting. I would just assume that it's like, it's the same both ways. If you're reaching out to me, it's because you want to give me something free or like we're collaborating. So if I reach out to you, then you're also thinking we're just collaborating. Now, turns out that is not the case.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also different where I've talked to people where when a brand reaches out to them, it's a higher price.
Yeah.
Because they see the value,
Yeah.
they've seen whatever, right? Versus when if they were going to reach out, they would have reached out with a lower price.
Yeah.
And just like that concept, it's like, it is forever changing.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, it goes back to like, we have weird stigmas in America with money in general. And so then like, why would the arts or marketing or whatever it is that you're doing for them be worth any money? You know, it's like this weird space.
And I mean, some of it's like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
do you know he's a fashion person? His name is like Wisdom
No.
something or Alex Earl.
Okay.
Okay. And it's like from one post over 10K.
Yeah.
And again, this has nothing to do with like the quality or anything, but for what you just posted,
Yeah.
I could learn to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to learn.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
learn to do that.
Yeah.
That I can do.
Yeah. 2026, man.
Yeah.
Making those posts.
Because why not? Because I feel like we all kind of assumed it was going to die off. But if
Yeah.
anything, it's only really growing more. So it's like,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. And I just wonder. Yeah. Like really, I think like we're here to stay with hiring creators. And maybe it's UGC.
Yeah.
Maybe it's community-based events. But I think there is something to be said about like hiring someone that's going to give you quality
Yeah.
and help you with your brand in
Yeah.
some sort of way. I think that's just not going to go away. And like,
Yeah.
and like, I also think TikTok's here to stay. So
Yeah.
then it's like with those two things.
Put together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, might as well. If you're into it, might as well give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they say the world is your oyster, truly, and she's gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, might as well.
Might as well.
Shoot for the stars.
Yeah. Okay. So where can people find you online?
Okay. Oh my goodness. Wait, how many things do you have? Because I was thinking about this. Like, okay, so I got Instagram.
Right.
Fashion by _Anita. TikTok, just fashion by Anita. YouTube, Life with Anita.
Okay.
Facebook, Life with Anita. Facebook and YouTube is basically only just fitness stuff because I do have a lot of, especially women who are always asking for fitness, and like Instagram and TikTok are just like, TikTok is a free for all. TikTok is like, I woke up today and this is what I felt like sharing. Instagram, I try to be a little bit more curated. You know, I'm trying to give you guys the pretty stuff. YouTube, just fitness. And then Facebook, basically the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And so where do you feel like you spend most of your time?
Probably, honestly, TikTok, because I don't feel like I have to be so like polished and like, oh gosh, like this isn't going to get the views. And like, I don't know. To me, Instagram is just more of like my put together self. Like edited, like professional social media. TikTok is like, it can be a little grungy sometimes. It's giving very like FaceTime. Yeah. We're pals.
And I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like you and I were chatting before where it's like I have to learn to not be a perfectionist on TikTok, and I think that's when I'll find...
you're a perfectionist on TikTok.
Yeah.
No, that's the place to throw it. Just throw it on the wall.
I know, but I can't.
Yeah.
I just
You
can't.
remember those little gummy hands?
like they stick.
Like that's what TikTok is for.
Yeah, I know, but I just can't let it go. Like if I like, even if I like post a video and I notice something wrong, I like
Yeah.
delete it. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the place to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's where I like test run things. Because I'm like, let's see. You
I
know,
love that.
like,
I'm
yeah.
gonna try that.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
I mean, the amount of videos, I'm sure, I'm so sorry if this has ever happened to you, and you're like, 1 million people like this. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
This is all, this is,
Yeah, that's true.
throw it on there. Versus Instagram, you can, for me, I can almost always tell like why it did so well. I'm like, okay, like at least it's funny, like the editing's really there, yada yada yada. On TikTok, I'm just like, you really just went for it.
Yeah.
Like you have the like trending sound, the 7-second trending sound. And
Yeah.
TikTok is like, let's show everybody.
Yeah, that's true. There's definitely like now like you said that, and immediately I thought of like TikToks I've sent my friends that are
Yeah.
just like short, weird things that are just strange.
Nonsensical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You've convinced me. I'm gonna put that in. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing the show.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. This was
is
so
so
much
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
I would love to have you back on for 2026,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about like,
Full circle.
we should do at the vision board party. Like we should do our
Yes.
vision boards and then come in here and then
Yes.
like show our vision boards.
Yes.
That's what. Okay.
When do you guys usually do it?
When?
Yeah.
Like December, January, like
Okay.
around the new year-ish.
Gotcha.
Like whenever
Okay.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So
We'll do a little recap, see how far we've gotten since this.
yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those where like returning guests where it's like they did the thing
Yeah.
and then after the thing and
Yeah.
how they feel it. And I love
Right,
those.
I'm like,
It's like
The pressure is on.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just like, I don't know. I'm always like everyone's cheerleader of
Yeah.
like I really do like have people on the show and then I'm like I just want to see you succeed with the
Yeah.
thing that you're doing, you know. And so, yeah.
Because how fun would it be?
Yeah.
Especially once you realize like there is truly enough room for everyone at the top.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, of course.
there's enough money, there's enough room. Like
Of course.
we can all win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for doing the show. Appreciate it.
Yes, this was so fun.
I've been your host, Zack Lyman. This has been the Zack Lyman Podcast and outro music.